A very good morning to all of you. Let me start with the proceedings. I will be dealing now with the fourth chapter from Hornbill, and it is a poem. The name of the poem is The Voice of the Rain, and it is written by the American poet Walt Whitman. So hereby I am about to share the screen, and I am about to share the content right now with you all. Yes, so just a minute. Yes, so I hope it is visible to all of you. Please confirm me once again whether it is clearly visible to all of you or not. It is visible to all of you, the voice of the rain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you so much for the feedback. So now let us move on. Basically, some preliminary information you should know about, and this particular poem is in term 2 of your syllabus. Okay, I will be sharing the syllabus today also after the class gets over, in all the sections that I will be conducting the classes. And the voice of the rain is actually in term 2, okay, not in term 1. So let us move on. First important thing, all of you should know that it is written in free verse. Okay, this poem is written in free verse. It is written by the American poet Walt Whitman. Wait, I hope there is someone on the line. Okay, so let me move on. I think Shubhayun joined us right now. Good morning. Welcome
Good morning,
to the
sir.
class. Yes, good morning. Okay, so it is written by Walt Whitman. Remember, actually, initially it was published in a periodical magazine. The name of the magazine was Outing. In this magazine, in the year 1885, it was printed for the very first time. Later, it was reprinted in the Leaves of Grass. Okay, now I will be dealing with that. Just let me allow. I hope there is someone on the line. Okay, I guess Harsh joined us right now. Good morning. Welcome to the class. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So, as I was talking about the voice of the rain, the first important point that you should know, it is written in free verse. And the next important thing is that it was initially published in a periodical magazine. The name of the magazine is Outing. It was published way back in 1885. Later, it was reprinted and included in Walt Whitman's famous collection of poems, and the name of the poem is Leaves of Grass. Okay, now if you Google Walt Whitman, you will find that Leaves of Grass is one of his most important poetic composition. Okay, it's a very famous book, collection of poems we can say. So there this poem was included at a later stage. Now here in this poem we find an imaginary conversation between the poet and the rain. And remember one important thing, the rain has been personified. It is a non-living object, but here in this poem the rain has been personified, or rather to say it has been given a human resemblance. And we find the most interesting thing is that we find that the rain is here having a conversation with the poet. That means we can presume that here the literary device that was being employed or used by the poet is personification. See, in the voice of the rain, the speaker listens to the personified figure of the rain, liken itself to poetry. And remember another important thing, you have read in your junior classes about the formation of water cycle. You have read about evaporation, you have read about condensation, you have read about formation of clouds, you have read about water vapor, right? All those things are here written in this poem, but it is not written in a very serious manner. It is written in a very relaxing manner, and it is written in the form of a poem. But remember, the scientific informations that we find here in this poem, they are all accurate and they are all authentic. Particularly the water cycle process, that is something that is never ending, that is eternal. That process has been discussed at length in this poem, but written in the form of a poem. Okay, see, describing each stage of the water cycle, the poem pays homage to the restorative power of the natural world and claims that poetry nourishes humanity just as rain nourishes the earth. This is something very important. Just like poetry or music, it has the power to restore to restore life in this earth. Okay, just like a good music can actually at the end of the day revive your dampened spirits, can energize you. Similarly, rain does it. Okay, rain nourishes the earth, and it cleans the world of dirt and dust. Not only that, it helps in the process of germination of seeds also, and not only that, it revives and refreshes the plant and the animal kingdom. But remember, it never asks any favor in return as such from us. Okay, and finally it returns back to the place of its own origin. Okay, that is the land and the bottomless bed of the sea. That is the place of origin of the rain. So the rain finally returns back to the place of its origin after fulfilling its purpose. And remember, this water cycle process, or dear students, this water cycle phenomenon, it's an ongoing process. Okay, now let me come to the summary part. This is very important. The poet gazed at the gentle spell of rain. Remember, it is written in your text, soft falling shower. Okay, soft falling shower, gentle spell of rain, and asked of the rain who it was. Remember, it started with an inquiry, and the poet, much to his surprise, because he haven't expected at the back of his mind that the rain would reply him back, but the rain did reply him back. Okay, much to the surprise of the poet, it answered him. That means it here means the rain. The soft falling drizzle or the soft falling showers ultimately answered him back. The rain told that it is the poetry of earth. It is never ending. That is the reason you will find the word eternal being used. It is intangible. Intangible, those who did my class yesterday, they know about it. Intangible means that cannot be felt by touching. Which thing I am referring here as intangible? Can any one of you say which thing been referred as intangible? Yes, basic common knowledge related with science. If you can guess it properly, then 50% of the poem it's clear to you. Can any one of you say which particular thing is referred as intangible that cannot be felt by touching? Any idea? Any guess which particular matter or which particular thing I'm referring to? Yes? Anyone? Yes, please. Can any one of you guess which thing I'm referring to? Oitirjo, can you say which thing am I referring to as here intangible? Which thing is associated with the word intangible? Biprodeep, can you answer me? Which thing is referred here as intangible? Yes? Anyone from the other section also? Can any one of you refer to me which thing has been referred as the intangible? Wait, let me share it once again, the screen. Okay, yes, I hope it is visible now. Can any one of you say which thing is referred here as intangible? It is the water vapor. Okay, that cannot be felt by touching. So that is something that is intangible. And as the process of water cycle goes by, it rises out of the land from the endless sea before it ascends towards heaven, and finally it moves towards heaven. There it changes its form, yet in essence it is the same. Remember one thing, that the water vapor finally ascends upwards. It changes its form, but its essence remains the same. it once again comes down to earth to refresh the dry earth, to bath small particles and settle the dust layers of the world. Now this is something very important. The rain ultimately removes the dirt and the dust. Okay, not only that, it helps in the process of germination. Okay, and apart from that, it refreshes the natural world. Okay, that is I am talking about both the flora and the fauna. See, it once again comes down to earth to refresh the dry earth, to bath small particles and settle the dust layers of the world. As it falls on the earth, the seeds that lay dormant and lifeless till that moment, all of a sudden spring back to life. Okay, the rain says that the earth is its creator, and so finally it returns back to the place of its creation. That means it returns back to the place of its origin. Okay, and it gives back life to it. Rain makes the globe wholesome and beautifies it. Globe means I am talking about the entire world. So it is the rain that purifies, nurtures and nourishes the natural world. I repeat one more time. It is the rain that purifies, that nurtures and nourishes the natural world. Thus the rain takes a full circle. That is the reason I am talking about the water cycle process. Okay, it's a never ending cyclic process. It is a natural process. Okay, see, thus the rain takes a full circle and finally comes back to its creator. Creator means the place of its origin. And what is the place of the origin of the rain? The land and the sea, bottomless bed of the sea, bottom bed we can say. Just like the song that originates from its birthplace and after completion travels around the earth, whether one takes heed of it or not, and then come back to its place of origin with love. Just like the song, a beautiful composition returns back to its creator, similarly the rain also returns back to its place of origin. Remember one thing, that rain refreshes, rejuvenates the earth, the elements of the earth, helps in the process of germination, cleans the world of dirt and dust and atomies, but never asks anything in favor. It gives back life to its own origin also. That means it's originated from the land and the sea. So it comes back to its place of origin with love. But remember, never asks for anything in return. That is something very important. There lies the significance of the rain. And obviously in this imaginary conversation, the rain introduced itself. Not only that, it goes on referring to its place of origin and the way it helps the elements of the earth, in the way how it is helpful for the earth. The rain clarifies everything. Okay, now I am moving on to the explanation part of the poem. Is there any doubt at the back of your mind? Anyone? Let me know about
No,
it.
sir.
Okay, fine. So let us move on then. Now see, actually in page number 41, it is in page number 41 in your text hornbill. You will notice that there is no such division of stanzas as such, but I did it for the convenience, for the sake of better understanding, so that you all can understand it properly. And as I told you, it starts it in a very peculiar manner. The poem starts with a interrogative sign, and it starts with a conjunction. And see, it is written immediately. It seems that the poet is asking a question to the rain. It's having a conversation with the rain, asking a question to the rain. Who art thou? That means, who are you? Said I. Here I means it refers to the poet. And remember, at the very beginning of the class, I told you that at the back of his mind, he already framed that the rain won't reply back to him. But much to his surprise, the rain did reply him back. Okay, see? And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer as here translated. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Okay, I hope there is someone on the line about to enter. Is there someone? No. So let me move on. Yes, I am the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable, out of the land and the bottomless sea. Wait, I hope I heard someone, a notification maybe, yeah. I guess Devannoy joined us right now. Yes, Devannoy, good morning, welcome to the class. Okay, so see this line. I am the poem of earth. This was being told by the rain, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable. Impalpable means intangible. Out of the land and the bottomless sea. That means obviously when it rises or when it ascends in the form of water vapor, it cannot be felt by touching. That is the reason, that is the significance of the line impalpable. See here, I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable, out of the land and the bottomless sea. Okay, those are the places of origin of the rain. Please underline, as I told you, you should carry a pencil also by your side. This is a very important line. Please underline it. I hope there is someone on the line. Please hold on, everyone. Okay, so let us move on. I hope Anubhav is there on the line. Yes, so see, eternal I rise, impalpable, out of the land and the bottomless sea. Impalpable, as I told you, that cannot be described. Okay, now how can you describe it if you can't touch it properly and cannot be felt by touching? So eternal I rise, I here it is referred to rain. Eternal because this water cycle process is a never ending process. It is an eternal process. Okay, eternal I rise, impalpable, out of the land and the bottomless sea. So these are the places of the origin of the rain, land and the bottomless sea. Who art thou means who are you. Eternal, as I told you, never ending. Impalpable, what it means that which cannot be described properly. Now what we can get from the above lines, if we phrase it properly or if we try to explain it, what we can get from the above lines? As I told you, an imaginary conversation is there between the poet and the rain, or rather to say in other words, between the poet and the soft falling shower. See, who are you? To which the rain replied in a very strange to state manner. The rain told that it was the poem of the earth, and it rose continuously from the land and the bottomless ocean or sea, we can say, in the form of vapors. And remember, that vapor that ascends upwards, that vapor is actually intangible. Okay, that vapor is actually impalpable because that cannot be felt. Since it cannot be felt, it is very hard to describe. It cannot be described also. Now let me scroll a bit down and let me move on to the the next lines of the poem. See, it is written, upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed and yet the same. Obviously formation of clouds. Okay, but remember, the clouds are of different shapes and sizes, but the core matter remains exactly the same. I descend. I here again it refers to which thing? Again it refers to rainfall. Okay, I descend to lave. The lave means to wash. Okay, or we can say to clean. I descend to lave the dross, atomies and dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. So here we get to know some of the functions of the rain, how it nourishes, nurtures, beautifies and purifies the earth. It cleans the world of dirt and dust. Okay, and not only that, the seeds that are latent, unborn, okay, those seeds, they get the power of germination. Okay, it seems that their power of germination was latent or unborn, but it is because of the rain their power of germination gets revived. Okay, we can say that it helps in the revival process. It means I'm talking about the rain. It helps in the process of germination, or it helps in sprouting of seeds. Okay, Now some meanings are there, because without meanings it is very difficult to explain anything in English, as you know. Hence means where. Vaguely, that means not distinctly, not clearly. Descent means come down. Obviously it ascends in the form of water vapor. Cloud formation takes place. The clouds are of different forms and sizes. Finally it descends in the form of soft drizzle, or it sometimes descends in the form of heavy torrential rain also. Now this phenomenon, what we can say water cycle, this phenomenon, it is eternal, it goes on every time. Okay, lave means actually to wash or bath. Atomies, it is related with small particles. Okay, and latent, it means something hidden or buried. That is the meaning of the term latent. Now let me move on. See, now let me come to the explanation part. See, the rain tells the poet that it rises upwards towards the sky in the form of vapor. That means not only the rain talks about its origin, but also the rain discusses in brief about the mechanism related with the water cycle process, about the mechanism related with the formation of clouds, and finally descending in the form of raindrops. Okay, so up to this, is it clear to all of you? Any doubt at the back of your mind? You can ask me.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So let us move on then. See, the rain tells the poet that it rises upwards towards the sky in the form of vapor, and remember, there it changes its form. Form means its shape. That means we can say it condenses into water droplets. It also says that although its form gets changed, it still remains the same. See, the core matter remains the same, though the clouds are of different shapes and sizes, but the core matter remains the same. The rain comes down to wash the drought and provide water. It also washes away the dust and small particles from the earth's surface. Okay, now this is something very important. It washes away the dust and small particles from the surface of the earth, and the seeds inside the earth grow into a plant because of the water provided by the rain. Now this is something very important. As I told you, that it refreshes and re-energizes the natural elements, and particularly related with the plant kingdom, it gives life to the seeds. Remember, when we talk about the plant kingdom and the importance of rain in the plant kingdom, then we can say it gives life to the seeds. Now let me move on to the final segment. See what is written. And forever by day and night. As I told you, it's a lifelong process. It's a phenomenon that goes on. Okay, and forever by day and night, I give back life to my own origin, and make pure and beautify it. For song issuing from its birthplace, after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. Now this is something very, very important. See, this is the ongoing process. It goes on forever by day and night. I give back life to my own origin. Obviously I provide life to my own origin. That means origin means land and the sea. Okay, or ocean we can say. And make pure and beautify it. That means it helps in the purification process, it helps in the revival process, it helps in the beautification process also. And it refreshes the entire environment. Okay, not only it cleans the dirt and dust and small atomies, but it also purifies and beautifies the entire environment. That is also something we should know about. For song issuing from its birthplace, after fulfillment, that means after fulfilling its purpose, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. Now whether anyone is cared about it or anyone is not so much cared about it, it never matters to the rain, because the rain doesn't want any favor from anyone. Finally it returns back to the place of its own origin. Now the most important word here is this one that I highlight right now, wrecked or unwrecked. What exactly does it mean? See, it means whether cared for or not cared for. it doesn't affect the rain nor the poet if someone listened to the rain or not. Now it doesn't matter to the rain, because after fulfilling its purpose, it returns back to the place of its own origin. Now can any one of you say, this is just a question to every one of you now, right now, that why these two lines are written in brackets? Can any one of you guess why these two lines are written in brackets? This should come in your mind, that why only the 1.5 lines at the very end of the poem, it is written within brackets. Can any one of you guess why it is written within brackets? Yes, anyone? Biprodeep, Devannoy, can any one of you guess why it is written within brackets? No idea? Yes?
Sir, for
It's the God's poem.
Yes, could you please say once again? I
sir,
couldn't.
for notice.
No, actually it is the personal viewpoint of the poet. That means after, at the end of the conversation, what was the personal take of the poet related to the rain, and that is the reason it is kept within first bracket. That means this is the personal viewpoint of the poet related to his conversation that he had along with the rain. Okay, see, now it is written here. The rain says that by day and night it provides life, care, enrichment and water to the place from where it is originated. The rain keeps enhancing the beauty and purity of the earth by preparing a life cycle for itself again. And remember, the rain keeps on enhancing the beauty and purity of the earth. It cleans the world of its dirt, dust and atomies. Now see, the rain is like a song, yes, that originates from its birthplace, just like the heart of the singer. Remember, the song originates from the heart of the composer, or we can say the song, just like a song originates from the heart of the singer and travels to fulfill the art's needs and wonders. It finally comes back to the place from where it originated. Just like in case of the song it happens, similarly in case of the rain also it happens. That means it comes back to the place of its own origin. Whether it is ruined or not, it returns to the original position with lots of love to its birthplace. Now whether wrecked or unwrecked, whether it is cared or not cared, it doesn't matter, because the rain finally returns back to its place of origin. Now few literary devices are there that I want to say at the end of the poem. Personification. See, I am the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. As I told you earlier, the poet has given dialogues to the rain also. Okay, now the rain also was interacting with the poet, so we can say it is a personification, because when a non-living thing is given a human resemblance or a living resemblance that is related with the literary device, that we can say personification. Metaphor. What exactly is that? An indirect comparison between the qualities of different things. See, I am the poem of earth. Rain is being compared to a poem. But if you see, this comparison is something indirect, and both are different. Okay, the poem is also different, the rain is also different, but both the two indifferent things are being compared here. So from that perspective, though I am the poem of earth, this is a personification, but I am the poem of earth, it is also a metaphor, because here we find two different objects. There is a indirect comparison here we find between two different objects. And what are those two different objects? One is rain, another one is poem. So rain is here compared to a poem. Okay, exaggerated statements are there. Bottomless sea, that is an hyperbole. Imagery is there, visual description of something, that we call imagery. Soft falling shower, that is very cinematic, that defines the visual description, and that is related with the literary device, that we can say imagery. Okay, so that is all related with the poem, The Voice of the Rain. You all please go through it once, and if there is any doubt at the back of your mind, because I discussed it in total, so if there is any difficulty at the back of your mind, do let me know about it. Okay, Thank you everyone. Have a nice day everyone. Thank you for a patient hearing. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you everyone. Thank you.